Yeah, eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation.
Welcome to an episode of Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. With me is Clayton of Fantasy Football Up North. Is that right? Did I call it right?
Fantasy football from up north, but
From up north.
you're pretty close. You're pretty close, buddy.
All right, good. And we can find you at what?
At Canadian Clay FF is good enough. That's where you could pretty much find all my content and all that stuff like that. So, what about you?
Find me at Eat Sleep FF. And I got a pod out. I didn't get a chance to tag it last time, but it's a new one about farming, and it's F This Farm, and you can follow me directly and my wife at F This Farm on Twitter. So we are starting a farm. Clayton, you see this light right here in the back?
I do, yeah.
It's I'm growing weed.
Woo! There you go.
Legal, it's legal in my state to buy the seeds. I just bought it at grocery stores. Like, here you go. And
Nice. Let me know how it goes.
Well, I will. you might see how it's going in a couple days.
That's awesome. Well, let's get into it, buddy. Let's talk some football here. Let's talk some quick free agency.
All right,
so let's drop a pod real quick. So let's go.
Yeah, for sure. So let's start off with the quarterbacks. Throw a couple guys at you. I think everyone expects Dak Prescott to re-sign with the Cowboys. Do you see him landing anywhere else? I think that's the biggest chip to fall.
No, he's definitely going to stay. I can't see any way that the Cowboys let him go. Like, I mean, he's consistent. He's proven to be like one of the most reliable. I mean, not reliable, but productive quarterbacks. He's a top 10 quarterback. He's more likely, if they can't come to a long-term deal, which I don't think they will, because they're in cap issue. I definitely see them tagging him, and then by this time by the time next year comes across, I have a feeling they're going to have to make some room, and that's where I kind of see a guy like maybe Amari Cooper,
right?
Them releasing Amari Cooper, opening up that cap space, signing Dak to a long-term deal. That's the best thing. I mean, he's young. I know there's talk about Wilson and stuff like that. Wouldn't mind coming to the Cowboys, but in all honesty, right now, I would prefer Dak over Russell Wilson, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that one. Dak's going to re-sign. He's a long-term Cowboy, at least for the next 5 years. I can't see him going anywhere else. There is some news out there that Cam Newton might re-sign with the Patriots. I mean, I don't think he can be a starter for anybody else right now. Is there anyone else you could see him going with, or a good fit for him?
I think if he was to go somewhere, a place like Denver, maybe, I think he could definitely give Drew Lock a run for his money. The thing is with Cam, though, I think he most likely will resign because the Patriots would be silly not to, right? I mean, you're going to go out there trying to sign a free agent for a ton of money. You just got Cam for what? They signed him for $1 million last year, something like that, on a 1-year deal. Give him another 1-year prove-it deal. Get this guy some weapons, see what he can do. I still 100%. Do think he's got some talent left in him, and I think he can produce at a high level if he has the weapons around him to do so.
Yeah, 100%. Like he should be re-signed with the Patriots. They need to focus on getting him some goddamn weapons. They have good running backs. They have a good wide receiver too, Edelman, if he's healthy enough to play. So they get him like someone like T.Y. Hilton and AJ Green or something, and they got
the money. They got the third most money to spend right now. So I have a feeling Bill is going to go out there and try to scoop a guy long term off the free agent market.
100%. So there's about 5 other wide quarterbacks out there, and I think there's like 3 open good spots. Like I think Denver's an open spot, Chicago's an open spot for quarterbacks. So we have Jameis Winston, Mitchell Trubisky, Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Jacoby Brissett. Where do you see those guys signing next year? Well, just pick 1 or 2.
Well, I'll start with Jameis Winston. I have a feeling he's going to be a Saint. I think they're going to I do think he's going to be a Saint. He's been around the system already for a year, right? He played behind Drew Brees. He knows the system. They got weapons. I think, he has new eyeballs because he had LASIK surgery or something like that. So he won't throw as many interceptions, hopefully. But as far as that goes, I don't know. I just think Peyton's going to roll with him no matter. Was that a cat?
Yeah, she's been crawling on my leg trying to get up.
Anyways, so I do think I think he's going to sign as a prove it deal for the year and kind of see where it goes from there. But I do like him if it all plays properly. I do like the way. I wish we would have saw a little bit more Winston. With Breeze out, but I do think that as far as there's people worried about Taysom Hill, and Taysom Hill is a gadget player. That's how he plays. That's you put him in a situation as a gadget player. That's when he plays well. He can't lead the way. He can't run the show for the Saints this year. I think he's still going to get plays called up for him, but that's about it in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean they're paying him a lot of money. I do want to say I personally think Taysom Hill is a good quarterback, and he just needs the full off season to get in it. I hope they don't re-sign Jameis Winston. They gave the ball to Taysom Hill. I like to see what he does in a full off season with Sean Payton. I think that is the ideal spot for him. I think if Taysom Hill was a starter in the playoffs, the Saints would have won the NFC. Drew Brees needs to retire. There's rumors that he might come back for another season, but I do think Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston would have beat what's his name? Tom Brady. So fuck that guy. I do see this is one guy I like is Ryan Fitzpatrick. I kind of see him landing in Denver and backing up Drew Lock and maybe taking over. He has kind of a history recently of taking over younger guys and unseating them for a season. So I think that would be a fun landing spot. There's so many weapons out there. Ryan Fitzpatrick can really make some noise in Denver.
Yeah, he completed almost 70% of his passes last year. He threw 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I do like that landing spot too. But what about also a team like Cincinnati? Now that with unknown what's going on with Burrow, he may not start the year. They're going to kind of need a guy to come in there and kind of, get a few wins under their belt. I like Cincinnati's offense. I think with Higgins, with Boyd. Right. AJ Green's probably going to walk. You got Mixon coming back. I think if you get a capable quarterback in there, that way they're not rushed. They're not going to rush Burrow back, and I think Fitzpatrick would be an ideal candidate to step in there. Even if he's under center for 3-4 games, I think they could probably go 2-2 at least, depending on what their schedule looks like. And that's what I
don't hate it. I think Jacoby Brissett would be lovely there.
So do I.
For me, I think both those guys would be great. I just can't see Ryan Fitzpatrick going back to the Bengals. I know did he start his career there? He was there for a bit. Mitchell Trubisky as well. There's a couple guys that would be good backups. Mitchell Trubisky needs to be a bench for a year before he can actually be a starter again. I think that's a good, 1-year deal for him to get ready.
You know what? I could kind of see him getting a similar deal to that of what Mariota got this year, in Las Vegas, right? They signed him to a bigger contract to back up Carr. When he did get in there, though, he played well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of situation where we'll probably end up seeing with Trubisky moving forward. He's going to go to a team where he's playing the backup role, gets a few, snaps in here and there. Starter goes down, though. I think that's where we see a guy. Starter goes down, Trubisky comes in, in a fresh place, a new beginning. And I think I like him still as a quarterback. He did lead the Bears to, playoffs 2 years in a row.
Right.
So I think just maybe a fresh landing spot is all he's going to need to kind of get a, fire lit up under his ass and start playing football again.
I kind of like this. Well, this is the last thing I'll bring up. I think Mitch Trubisky would be really nice in Houston if they don't take a quarterback in the early rounds. If they end up trading him away, then now they have Mitchell Trubisky. He's good enough. He's not going to win them a playoff game, but he's going to keep them afloat until they're able to get a roster intact.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So let's move on to running backs. And I think for me, Aaron Jones is probably the best running back going into free agency. He's going to get some big dollars. I don't see them re-signing him next year. Where do you see him signing?
You know what? There's many spot places that are lacking. I like Miami, to be honest with you. With why not? Because they'll have to pay a ton for him.
Yeah, 15 mil. That's not fucking worth it, man.
Yeah. Well, you can't really say that since he's had over 3,000 scrimmage yards since 2019, and he's a baller, man. He's what you need. He's a 3-down back that can do everything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. but we need a wide receiver. And if you sign Aaron Jones, that takes up so much cap space for the Dolphins. I just don't think. I mean, Gaskins was almost 1,000-yard rusher if he hadn't, missed a couple games.
I don't know. I'm paying everything I have if I'm a franchise to go and get Aaron Jones, because you're not going to get a running back like that. There's no running back like that right now that is proven. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's out there that you have a chance on getting. So,
yeah. If Aaron Jones leaves, and we talked a little bit about this between me and you, AJ Dillon and Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is also free agent, but he's probably going to get re-signed. Where do you have AJ Dillon? Because we're going to assume he's going to be the workhorse back.
I can't see him. Yeah, I definitely can't see them letting Jamal Williams walk as well if they do. Well, I mean, I think Aaron Jones is definitely gone. I can't see Williams going anywhere. Williams, you know what? You have him and Dillon as a 1-2 punch, kind of like they kind of had last year a little bit. I think that's going to be good. I think I have Dillon. I don't know off my hand. I just did my rankings too today. I should have written that down, but I probably have him in, the top 1. No, not even. Yeah, maybe top 24 for sure. He's an RB2 for me. I'm not going to jump him up into the RB1 category right now. Just because I do think that Green Bay is going to do a lot on the receiving side of the ball this year. I think they're going to go out and get one of these free agents that we're going to end up talking about here shortly. But I do like Dillon moving forward though. Yeah,
100%. I see him as top 24 back. I can't rank him much higher beyond that. He did have one nice game, but yeah, I think that 1-2 punch is great. Honestly, you're probably right about Aaron Jones going to the Dolphins. I can't think of I've been ranking my brain. There's no other team that I can see paying him what he's really worth.
Yeah.
He's worth $15 million. I just can't see another team that has such a glaring hole like the Dolphins do, like some say. So I wouldn't hate it. I would just be upsetting if they did that. There's a couple other big names out there. Chris Carson, Kenyon Drake. I think Chris Carson might resign. They do have Rashard Penny still. They still have they just drafted DJ. They have a couple other weapons, but Chris Carson has been by far the best running back on that roster. So,
yeah, it would shock me to see him walk. And if he did though, too, I think he can land somewhere, and get paid somewhere between 8 and 10 million. I would think kind of like a Melvin Gordon contract. And speaking of that, why don't you send him to a team like that needs a running back, like a place like Denver? You know what I mean? Gordon, I don't know, didn't look good. You got Phillip Lindsay there, but Phillip Lindsay's going to a free agent now too. I want to see is Lindsay a free agent, or is he?
He's on our list as a free agent.
Yeah, he's a free agent then. Sorry, I got a couple guys mixed up here. So yeah, but I would think that they're going to sign him, and if not, he's going to land somewhere like a Denver or so a quarterback needy team, maybe like in Arizona. Maybe they let Drake leave. You know what I mean? So. And he was good last year. He was just injuries, right? That's the problem. You can't
exactly
injury problem.
That O-line was awful too. So yeah, I agree with you. Chris Carson would be nice in Arizona. I guess if Arizona does not re-sign Kenyon Drake, I guess Aaron Jones would be beautiful. With Chase Edmonds back there, that would be a great landing spot. Just throwing that back out there, I think that wouldn't be a terrible landing spot.
You don't want him on the Dolphins.
No, we're not ready for that commitment, man. Just sign me get a rookie in the second round. Just fucking go with it.
Yeah.
See what happens. There's a couple big names on this list of free agent running backs, and this is another reason why I don't think Dolphins should pay this much for Aaron. I think this is one of the deeper parts. I'm just going to name a couple, like James Conner, Todd Gurley, Phillip Lindsay, Leonard Fournette, who looked amazing in the playoffs, Marlon Mack. I mean, all those guys are capable of carrying the ball and being useful. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces this offseason in running back position.
As far as I don't know, I think a James Conner, I don't think a guy like James Conner or Todd Gurley or even Mike Davis is out there as well. I don't think that they can carry the load anymore. I think they're best working in a committee. So yeah, maybe a place like a James Conner going to, what would you say? Would he be in Arizona? You know what I mean? Somewhere like that where he can work with Chase Edmonds. He hasn't really proven that he can catch the ball, but if you throw him in the mix with a guy like Chase Edmonds that has proven that he can catch the ball. He has great hands out of the backfield. I think there you could find a little bit more success where, because in Pittsburgh, he wasn't with it, man. And I can't see him going anywhere that will, anywhere where he'll start, to be honest with you.
Pittsburgh is going to be under the cap. I mean, they're hurting in the cap situation, so they're not going to sign one of these running backs. They have a loaded backfield. With James Conner gone, who do you see in your eyes, kind of taking over that role? Because it could be any guy. They're all pretty fucking good.
I know I still like Benny Snell. I think when Conner did go out, I think it was Snell that did come in, and I thought he was a much better productive back. But I have a feeling that I'm staying far away from that backfield in fantasy, to be honest with you. Because
really?
you got Snell, you got McFarland back there, you got Jalen Samuels is still there. I know he plays more on that tight end aspect of it, but I still think that's a 3-headed monster in my opinion there.
Yeah, for me, I feel like they always end up saying they're going to be a 3-headed monster, 2-headed monster, and they end up going with one back. Yeah. I think this is one of those situations in drafts where whoever is going high in drafts, you don't take, and you just go after like Jalen Samuels in the 14th round or Anthony McFarland, whoever's falling deep in drafts, because I think all three are going to be involved in some capacity at some point, but never. I don't think any of them are going to be involved the entire season, if that makes sense. So I would just not jump on the bandwagon and waste a fucking pick on like Benny Snell in this 3rd round. Like you can get Anthony McFarland, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
Do you have Le'Veon Bell has anything left in his tank?
I think that's going to be based on landing spot. But you know what? What would you think about him going back to Pittsburgh? I know it sounds ridiculous, but Tomlin. He's played there. He's played for Tomlin. Tomlin likes he's productive there. If he had his head on straight or whatever and wasn't selfish bitch and look what happened to him, right? You know what I mean? Goes to team does shit since he left there. What would with Big Ben coming back now? They have the receiving weapons already. I don't know. In my opinion, they're a contender, to be honest. Yeah. And why not try to throw a guy like go get Bell on a 1-year prove-it deal, see what he can do, give him the reins. You're going to sign him for cheap, and then just kind of roll with it and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he'd be great in Pittsburgh. I would rather have Le'Veon Bell on a cheap contract for the Dolphins. Like that. That's. I think he has something left in his tank. He just has to be hungry.
Well, when we saw him drafted to KC, everyone was like, "Oh man, hilarious." He played 17% of the snaps for Kansas City in 9 games. That's it. Yeah,
he never got a shot.
No,
I wouldn't pay too much for him, but I think you're absolutely right. Pittsburgh would be fantastic for him. So we have wide receivers coming up, and I think a lot of these guys are going to get re-signed. So I'm not going to really talk about Chris Godwin. He wants to get paid, but he's probably going to re-sign. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, even during the parade, you saw. Arians is probably my favorite coach after seeing, a hammered Arians talking during the parade, walking up to everybody, interrupting their like little interview, telling them, you're definitely coming back. You know what I mean? So I can see them paying Godwin, and I definitely see Godwin staying. But the one thing I'm kind of up in the air about is what's going to happen with Allen Robinson.
Yeah, he's the big name. Like that. Yeah. That's the big chip to fall. There's no way he's going to sign back with the Bears. Like he's going to go somewhere. I mean, honestly, he should go to the Patriots. Like that's, Cam and Allen Robinson. That would be beautiful.
I feel bad for the guy in general. Like you look at his, the quarterbacks he has had thrown to him have been brutal. You know what I mean? You start out with Bortles, you get Trubisky, you get Foles, you get it's just been ridiculous. And he's productive every single year.
Doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? Over the last 2 years, he has over 2,400 receiving yards. That's third. That ranks third amongst wide receivers with Trubisky behind the helm, right? So
that's crazy.
He does what he needs to do. I think the Bears could technically tag Robinson if they wanted to. Yeah. They're going to have to pay him, but I do think I had him going to a team I have everybody going to the Dolphins for some reason. But
I just think
that I think pair Allen Robinson with a Tua, a reliable target like that. I think you see Tua's production go up. I think you see the offense in general. They need an elite guy back there. They need an elite guy to go with that young receiving core, right? Like Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, just not cutting it. I think they do need an elite guy like an Allen Robinson to step in there and be a leader and help out Tua, help everybody out in the offense. To be honest,
the Dolphins, they have $25 million. I would throw $25 million at Allen Robinson and just like get his ass on the roster. Devontae Parker, Allen Robinson, Gesicki. I mean, yes, we are contenders officially if we get Allen Robinson. I hope they make that decision.
A contender, man. You just dropped these hot takes like nonstop.
We were one game out of the playoffs. We beat the Bills. We got swept by the Bills actually.
Yeah.
All right. Let's moving on. Juju Smith-Schuster is probably going to resign. Give Ben one more shot. Do you agree with that? He's probably a pretty big chip.
I don't think he does sign, to be honest. I think he goes to a team like the Colts.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. You got Wentz there now. You throw Juju in there. I think they let Ty, or maybe they even sign Ty. They re-sign him and have Juju there, Ty there. They have Pittman. That's a lot of weapons for Wentz to succeed, right? Under Mike Reich, I think he's going to be. That's what he needs. He needs a nice, reliable receiver, like a young guy like Juju. And who's not going to pay Juju for? He's like what? He's 24. And he's already entering free agency, so go and get him. Go and get him. And I just think, as far as Pittsburgh goes, they're not going to want to invest a whole ton of money into anybody right now, right? Yeah, exactly. They can't afford it, but they're not going to want to put all that money into a receiver when they know that they're going to have to go and get a quarterback at some point.
Yeah, they have two very good wide receivers. There's no point. They have Claypool and they have Deontay Johnson. They don't need Juju at all.
Yeah.
100% on board with that. Juju should move. I know he wants to stay, but he's going to be. I think he should just go sign with the Green Bay Packers and they go win a Super Bowl. Like that's where he should be.
I have Will Fuller. I like Will Fuller going to the Packers.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, earlier at the trade deadline, they were in talks with Houston. Obviously, It's nice that they pulled the plug on that because they wouldn't have had him at all after the trade deadline. So, I think he gets his head on straight. He's a speedster, man. That's what they need along playing opposite of Adams, I think. Yeah. I think you get him, line him up with Adams on one side and Fuller on the other. And
that'd be nasty.
Rodgers could go back to another MVP performance again for the second straight year.
Super Bowl. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, poor guy. I think Will Fuller would be great in Green Bay. There's rumors that Will Fuller might sign with the Dolphins. Like, he's a wild card. He's like on that tier after the top three guys you talked about, like a wide receiver too that can really make a difference. Like, there's Will Fuller, Corey Davis, Kenny Galladay is going to get tagged. We also have Curtis Samuels. We haven't talked a lot about Washington Redskins.
Yeah, I really, really, really like Curtis Samuels to go to Washington.
That'd be nice.
I had it. That's where I had him pegged. I know they already have like a guy like Antonio Gibson, right? So I know that. I know the 2020 season. I know Samuel broke out because there was no CMC, right? So the way that they schemed him into the plays, I think was perfect. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. I think Washington can go get a guy like that. I think Rivera will be smart enough to use him. Having him there, to play opposite of McLaurin, and also have Antonio Gibson there as the other gadget guy. I like it. The problem with that is, though, who's throwing him the ball?
Right. Exactly. We haven't really talked about who Washington's going to sign as a quarterback, but they need a quarterback bad.
What about even going to a team like the Patriots, like you mentioned earlier? Yeah, you said yourself you're not sure if Edelman's even coming back or if he's even going to be healthy enough. Samuel could easily step in and do exactly what Edelman did and do it better. He's younger.
100%. Yes. Curtis Samuel to the Redskins or Patriots would be ideal. They should, honestly, I think the Patriots just sweep in and sign all these other wide receivers like Nelson Aguilar and Curtis Samuel.
They have a ton of money. They have a ton of money.
Yeah. So we have a couple of vets also hitting the free agency. We have AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton, Sammy Watkins. I kind of see Sammy Watkins re-signing for another 1 year deal with the Chiefs. I don't know. I think AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton are kind of wild cards for me. I think they're going to be chasing some Super Bowls, so I don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah, and they're going to sign for cheap somewhere, right? But you put Allen Robinson back in the mix with, say, a guy like we said, it was Allen Robinson we were talking about, or no, Juju. Sorry, put Juju in the mix in Indianapolis. Why wouldn't Ty sign a 1-year deal with them? See if we could see that sophomore season where Carson Wentz went off. See if he could bring that back, because the Colts are good. They have a good O-line. Their defense is above average. You got a running back that's dynamic. And now you'll have some receivers to go with that. I think there's a good chance that Ty does re-sign on a 1-year deal for, not a ton of money. As far as AJ Green goes, he's definitely chasing a Super Bowl. So someone's going to sign him to probably a vet minimum and get some production out of him.
Yeah, I mean, perfect landing spot for the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he signs with the a Green Bay Packers would be nice. I mean, there's not any rumors about that, but I mean, a team that needs a wide receiver and someone who's chasing Super Bowl is that's the perfect match. Is the Green Bay Packers. They definitely go one together. I mean, there's a couple other guys we could talk about in wide receivers, but they don't really pop out. Rashad Higgins is going to resign. Rashad Perriman's a scrub, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's not really.
No, I have a feeling as far as maybe the next guy would be a Corey Davis type. I do he broke out. I do like him going to a team I think of Washington can use him. Or not Washington, Minnesota. Washington or Minnesota. I like Minnesota to go play opposite of Jefferson there. We saw Diggs and Thielen play there. They were productive. You threw Jefferson in the mix. I think you need another guy like Corey Davis to go in there. I think that, that'd be a solid receiving core. You got Thielen, Jefferson, and Davis. Cousins is a good enough quarterback to make 3 productive wide receivers in fantasy. So, and in general in NFL.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. I think Corey Davis to the Washington Redskins would probably be if I had to peg somewhere for him to go. I think they have enough cap space. If they don't get Curtis Samuels, I mean, I think if Corey Davis of anyone's gonna be is gonna be chasing some money. He's looking for a payday.
Yeah.
So I could see him going with someone who has a lot of cap space, and I think the Redskins have quite a bit. If they can get a goddamn quarterback over there.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. What's going to happen there? So
let's go over and talk about tight ends. There's a couple guys that are actually surprisingly Hunter Henry's going to hit the market, possibly Jonnu Smith, Robert Tonyan. Hunter Henry's going to get the biggest paycheck. They're saying he's going to get some Austin Hooper cash.
Well, we'll talk Henry, we'll talk Jonnu Smith, these big name guys. Even a guy like Gerald Everett. I have them all pegged going to the Patriots.
Oh,
Patriots
wow.
Not all of them. No, I'm saying one of them. One of the top three.
Right.
Bill's going to go out and pay one of these guys. They've had next to no production from that tight end position since Gronkowski left. They tried to draft 2 young guys last year. That didn't work out at all. They legit have had 0 production out of those guys. Why not go and pay for a Hunter Henry? He's got the same skill set as Gronkowski has. He can block. He's a big weapon. He's a big tight end, and we know that Bill loves the tight end that's versatile, right? So,
right.
I think you go. I think Henry's going to sign. To be honest with you, back in Los Angeles with the Chargers, because it'd be. I don't know. I know people like Parnham or whatever his name is, but I think it'd be silly not to have Henry back.
No, he's one of the elite tight ends. I mean, I can see them not re-signing him for cap reasons, but he's going to be demanding a lot of money, and I think the Patriots can afford it. But I imagine he's going to get tagged and get stuck there. Oh, he was tagged last season. He's going to move. He's going to move. So, so we have Jonnu Smith. He started off hot last season. It was his first year as a full-time starter, and then he just went straight downhill.
That was a product of, I think, Taylor Lewan going down, though. I think the minute he went down, we saw Jonnu Smith blocking a lot more in that on that line. So I think had Taylor Lewan not been injured, I think we would have been talking about Jonnu Smith maybe have been the number one tight end on this list. I kind of think a good fit for him would be a place like Seattle. Losing Greg Olsen. Smith's an elite talent, and I just think that that Carroll likes to use his tight ends. Wilson likes to throw to his tight ends, and they have not had like an elite guy there for many years. Well, I guess since Jimmy Graham, I guess. Yeah. Is that pretty much since the last time? So yeah, go out and get a guy like him if they can afford him. That's the only thing. So
right. Jonnu Smith isn't going to be demanding the amount of money Hunter Henry is. So I can see Jonnu Smith going, if they lose Hunter Henry, going to the San Diego Chargers. They need a tight end over there. And I can see them like swapping tight ends, something like that. Robert Tonyan, I think we could both agree he's going to sign with the Packers again. Like that's pretty...
Well, he's an RFA, right? So So I mean, the most thing that they could possibly do is, I guess they could tag him, or no, they wouldn't need to tag him, right? They would have to. Hold on. Yeah, they have. Well, sorry, they could sign. Someone could sign him to a offer sheet, correct?
Right.
So that's going to be the issue because Green Bay doesn't have a whole ton of money. So, I mean, you go to a guy like, okay, let's go back to the Patriots again. Bill says, let's go give this guy $12 million and let's see if Green Bay, they don't have that kind of money to sign Tonyan.
No.
I think, you know what I mean? I don't think it happens. I do think that Tonyan does stay in Green Bay. But talking about, just want to fall back on the Jonnu Smith idea real quick to go to Seattle. We already had Pete Carroll came out and already said they want to concentrate more on the run this year, which was weird to me since, Wilson was dynamite at the start of last year. But okay, So say they go back to it, let's go to a run heavy offense. We just saw Jonnu Smith come from a run heavy offense, right? So he's already they're probably going to have the similar scheme set for for that team. That's why I just really like Jonnu Smith to go to a place like Seattle.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy at all. The other guy, Jared Cook, we didn't really talk about him. If there's someone on this list that I think is going to go to the Patriots, it's going to be Jared Cook. They love their veterans. Yeah, Jared Cook is gone out of the Saints. Like I can see Jared Cook landing with the Patriots. Like that is a realistic landing spot for me.
Yeah, I do. And it's not going to cost them anything, right? It's going to cost them very little money. Just like that's exactly. Bill doesn't like to pay guys. So, I mean, that's what like you said, they like to go after their vets. So
exactly.
Go get a guy like Cook for dirt cheap.
Well, what the Patriots are going to do, they're going to end up signing Jared Cook, Josh Reynolds, and then like fucking Willie Snead. And that's their new elite wide receiver squad. Like that, it's going to be that weak.
And what about a guy like Gerald Everett?
I mean, they're saying that he's going to be demanding starter money. People see him as a starter. I don't know, man. Like I think if he's a number one tight end on a roster, he could be a top 15 talent. Sure, I don't think that's unrealistic to say.
Okay, I'll have Henry leaving the Chargers. Let's still go throw Everett out there. I personally think that Everett and him have they're built the same. They're big guys. Yeah. I think you go out and you spend the money. Everett has been productive for the Rams. So now throw him to the Chargers, and I think that you're going to get similar production. I think from that they did from Henry. He can still block, and you're getting him at a way lesser price than what you'd have to pay Henry.
Right.
So that's a nice spot for me, I would think.
I don't think that's crazy at all. I do think that we haven't talked about the Jags at all, and they're going to get it. They're going to get a rookie quarterback, and they are thin at tight end. I could see them, going after one of these veteran, like a Gerald Everett or a Jonnu Smith, and or a Hunter Henry. Like they have the cap space. Like throw it. Like they could throw cash at him because I mean, having a safety valve like one of those 2 or 3 guys, like that is important to a rookie succeeding. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Jags, throw a couple darts out there and catch everyone off guard on a tight end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These guys are going to go wherever the money's at for the most part, right? I mean, we already know what the tight end situation's like in, even just talking fantasy, right? If you don't have any of those top 4 guys, there is a huge gap between, right? So, I mean, if you're a tight end and you're in the free agency market, there's not a huge demand for you because you're not, say, in the same caliber as these elite guys at the top. some guy throws 10 million at you, you don't give a shit where you're signing. You're just taking that money and you're going, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
exactly. That's not a bad landing spot. Like that's number one. Like the Jags are like an ideal landing spot just because of this quarterback who's never played an NFL snap.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I think that covers everyone I wanted to talk about. Clayton, is there anyone else you wanted to bring up?
No, that was perfect, nice and quick. Yeah, I mean, we free agency. It's going to be. I'd like to come back to all this stuff when these guys actually sign. That's going to be the biggest thing. It's landing spots. It's just like in the draft, right, where you can't really talk about the production level on a fantasy aspect right now because you don't know landing spots for these guys, right? So as far as we know, Robinson could end up going to the Jets, and then what, right? Then all of a sudden now he's not. You know what I mean? Now we're not as happy in fantasy for him, right? So I just think it's all once these guys all sign, I think that's going to be where the serious talk comes into play, where we can at least rank them and kind of figure out production wise for him. So
yeah, I know. When does free agency open up? It opens up in a few weeks, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it is about 3 weeks, I think.
Oh, perfect. So stay tuned, guys. In 3 weeks, we'll have a new episode.
Hey, we better have one a little bit quicker than that.
Right. All right. That's going to do it for us. Check us out at Eat Sleep FF, Clayton on at Clayton Can Do, and me at F This Farm. There you go.
It's not at Clayton Can Do, man. Get it sorted out, bro.
Kadukes.
At Canadian Clay FF is where you can find me on Twitter.
Wait, when did you change it? Did you change it?
I changed it like last year sometime, man.
My bad.
Sorry, you've been hiding out in this like farm in wherever the hell you live.
I'm sorry.
Like you still just said you have dial-up internet, man. You're working your way, getting some of those like.
I'm trying, man.
So, but yeah, no, I agree with you. We'll be back very soon, guys. Thanks a lot for listening, and Armando, good luck farming, bro.
Yeah.
Cream and Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat Sleep Fantasy.